So, good afternoon and welcome to this live webinar organized by Ellie Publishing. So it's a constant appointment this afternoon. It's dedicated to all teachers of English as a second or as a foreign language. My name is Silvia Petrosillo. I'm the marketing manager here in Ellie, and I just would like to draw your attention just for a few seconds, a few minutes before giving the floor to our presenter, as you can see, because I'd like to share with you some technical information. This session will be recorded, so if any of your colleagues couldn't make it for this afternoon, no worries, as I will be sharing the video, the recorded video of this session with you in later in a couple of days / weeks. If you follow us on Facebook, if you follow or if you browse and visit our website, you will find all the information, okay? Remember, this is extremely important because our presenter kindly put together a document for you. Yeah? It's a handout that you can download before the end of this online session, this live session, okay? You can find it under Documents, or just follow the icon of a sheet. If you're following us through, if you're watching us through your smartphone, okay, you will find a PDF. You will see a PDF to download, and that's for you, for your archive, for your study, for your knowledge, okay, after this session. But you have to download it before the end of this live session. Then I know many of you need, the certificate of attendance, and you don't be afraid, because you will receive it in a PDF format in your inbox by tomorrow late evening. So check in your inbox or in the spam, because I'm afraid sometimes it just go there, okay? And questions and answers. We will have a dedicated questions and answer moment at the end of the session. However, should you have any comments you'd like to share with me, and especially with our presenter, feel free to do it. So write down in the question box or in the chat box, okay? Please notice that you won't be able to see other teachers' comments. I'm afraid this is the sort of, this is a feature of this platform, but I will be reading those ones and I can read them aloud for our presenter, okay? Then what else? All further information about, Ellie material, Ellie product, and especially games on ellieonline.com or ellielanguagegames.com. So I'm very now pleased, I'm honored to give the floor to Paolo Iotti, the speaker of today. Paolo is a teacher. He's been teaching English as a foreign language for more than 20 years, and he's combined his linguistic skills with his specialization, sorry, because the phone was ringing, of music. So basically, he graded also at the Conservatorio in Castelnuovo here in Italy, and he composes music for language learning specific purposes, which is very challenging, very stimulated, I would say, very complicated, I would also add. But he's also author and co-author of many successful coursebooks for children, for primary, of English, of course. Many of those ones actually have been written for Ellie Publishing, and I'm very glad about that, very happy about that. So I didn't want to waste too much of your time, so I'm happy to give you the floor, Paolo, and thanks again for being here and for running this session for us today.
Thank you very much, Silvia, and thank you very much to all of you attending this presentation. And I hope by the end of this presentation, you can find one or some ideas that you might recycle with your students and revitalize your enthusiasm. Because this is the main point, I think, that when I go or when I attend to a meeting, I want to grasp an idea to revitalize my enthusiasm, because at the end of the day, our enthusiasm, our beliefs is what we project over our students, and it's certainly one of the gifts we offer our students in terms of teaching. Okay, let's play then. Card games today and techniques to make your class pop. even if you have a 4B class. I will be talking about 4B class today. As you can see in line number 3 of this slide, I teach 7 classes. 6 of them are ordinary classes, I would say, and then I have my 4B class. And all of us, I think, have a 4B class. I mean, a class that is slightly more demanding than our other classes. Anyway, in my experience, using card games with this particular class has been very useful so far, and I would like to share with you some of the material I use with them, and not only with them, but also with adults and teachers I work with. And at the end of the presentation, if you have some questions or ideas that you would like to share, please feel free to do so. Now, this is the content of today's presentation. Interpersonal in social setting. So why card games are so relevant these days. And then point 2, let's make our class pop. And point 3, why are board games so effective in, as I mentioned before, class 4B, and how to choose the right game for the right students. Then we will talk about integrating board games into our lesson plans, and we will find out some ideas to share about social aspects of playing with board games. Let's enter then the first of these points, interpersonal in social setting. This is one of my classes. You can see the photograph of one of my classes. And with the widespread usage of technology and virtual communication, many students, in my experience, have experienced isolation and had limited opportunity to interact with others. After the pandemic, it is essential, in my opinion, to rediscover the importance of activities such as board games that enable students to listen and talk to each other and to understand body language of their friends and to be aware that the communication is not only the words we say, but the way we deal with our body and the way we deal with the space within us. We take it for granted sometimes. After the pandemic, this is something that with our students, we have to rediscover. They have to rediscover, or sometimes they have to learn how to deal with body language and visual impact. Board games, yes, they can help students build confidence and develop this kind of very relevant interpersonal skills, such as teamwork, communication, problem solving, working in groups. If you think of our students today, if we are talking about very young learners or young learners, in their abilities, when they grow up, when they enter, when they go to work, they need to work in team. They need to think in terms of problem-solving mind. And playing card games, in my experience, is helping me a lot in order to achieve these points. And I'm pleased to share with you some of the ideas and of the techniques in order to achieve these points. But before entering the game with students, I'd like to talk, with very young learners. I'd like to show you one of the games I like using with more adult students, teachers in particular. This one can be used both with very young learners and adults. I don't know if you teach young learners or adults, but this kind of exercise can be useful for both. This game is called Let's Talk, and it's here. This is the box. Let me show you the box. Let's Talk. And the box comes with 132 cards. I have all of them here in front of me, with multiple choice questions divided into 6 categories: superpower, annoying things, wishes, opinions, fears, or never ever. Then you have 1 die with 6 different colored faces that corresponds to the categories of the cards, 60 tokens. These are elements that can help us and our students to improve socialization and to improve their ability both to listen and talk. Shall we play? Well, let me tell you how to play a little bit. Each player receives 3 tokens like these with numbers 1, well, this one, 1, 2, 3. Yes. The cards divided up according to the colors. These are the purple cards that you can see, or these are the blue cards or light blue cards. And then we have the green cards, very useful if you need to go to the United States. Green cards, sorry, bad joke. Okay, the cards divided up according to the color. A desk of 22 cards are positioned face down on the table. Each player then roll the die, and when it's their turn, they turn over the first card from the deck according to the color. The player then reads out loud the questions and 3 answers on the card without saying which answer they would choose. He or she places the tokens with the corresponding number on the table, keeping the number hidden. As usual, when I try to explain a game, oh, no way. Playing the game is much better than having a look at the rules. So let's try to play. We will find out something about how to play the written rules in a minute. Silvia, this is something we have not planned, but I need your help. Can you please support me in a minute?
Yes, of course.
Oh,
I'm
fantastic, fantastic. And I'm asking, as I cannot read what you write on the chat, so please, Silvia, I need your help to read what our colleagues will be writing on the chat. Now, let's throw the dice now, and we'll see who is the winner of this game within you, teachers and colleagues playing at the moment with us. Okay, color, here it is, green, right? Green. Now, let me pick up the first card from the green deck. This is the green deck. I will pick up the first card, and the first card says, ooh, you could never live without, you could never live without, and I have, can you read the card, Silvia, by the way?
Yes, so
freedom. Okay, freedom, yes. Hobbies.
Hobby, thank you, and friends.
And friends. Okay, please, all of you, try to think if I'm going to answer that I could never live without. 1, freedom. 2, hobbies. 3, friends. Okay, we don't know each other very well, of course, but if you think I could never live without freedom, please take the token with your number 1, or in other words, write number 1 on the chat. If you think I could never live without my hobbies, please write number 2 on your chat. Or if you think I couldn't live without friends, please write number 3. Okay? Are you writing?
Yes, they are starting writing.
Okay. In a minute, I will tell you which one is the correct answer. And those who got the correct number, 1, 2, or 3, will win, I don't know what. When I play with my students, I say, if you win a meal cooked by me, and then they say, oh no, please no, I don't want to win. I have this fantastic reputation of being very bad at cooking, and I'm afraid I'm very bad at cooking. Anyway, good. Imagine if we played this game in group together, where we could see each other face to face. It will be the starting point of a very interesting conversation. Okay, playing on the computer is a bit unnatural in this situation. And of course, as I cannot hear your voices, again, it makes it a bit not so natural, but you can have at least an idea of the potential of this game. Anyway, the correct answer is I could never live without my hobbies. The correct answer is 2. The correct answer is 2. So if someone voted 2, yes, you got 1 point. 1 point. Okay. Point number two. Let's see. 1 point. Let's see. Let's change the color. Let's change the color. Okay. Let's throw the dice. Okay. And this is orange. Orange. Orange means terrified, afraid, scared. Ooh, this is the orange deck. And I pick up the first card from the orange deck, and the card says, ooh, you are terrified of injections, viruses, or dentists. Ugh. If you think I'm terrified by injections, please write number 1. If you think I'm terrified by viruses, please write number 2. Or if you think I'm terrified of dentists, please write number 3. Terrified of viruses, 2, injections 1, dentists 3. Did you write it? And the correct answer is, again, are you writing down? Silvia,
yes, they are. They're writing. Yes, indeed.
They're writing. And if you are writing the correct answer again is 2. Two. I'm not afraid of injections because simply I'm not afraid of that, and I'm not afraid of dentists because my best friend is a dentist and a musician as well. And believe me, having your best friend that is a dentist, it can be very useful sometimes. Believe me. I will pass you his phone number just in case you need a very good dentist and a very good musician as well. He can sing while working on your teeth. Maybe not the best way to talk about music, but very nice indeed. Anyway, those of you who got 2 out of 2, good, you win. I don't know what, but anyway, the winner is the player who guesses the most.
There's only one winner this time. Only one winner.
Only one winner.
Yeah.
One person voted.
One person voted this. Yeah, and 2 to the first question, by the way.
Wow, good. Anyway, this person, I can officially invite this person and cook a meal for this person, if this person is brave enough to accept this obscure offering. Anyway, good. Okay, this situation is a bit unnatural, right? But imagine to play it with a group of people you can actually talk to. These cards, I picked up 2 cards random, okay, but they are divided into colors, but also difficulties in terms of vocabulary. So if you have very young learners, you can select 4 or 5 cards. If you have intermediate students, you can have let us say 15 of these cards. If you have more advanced students, you can have all the lot for every color. So having the chance of choosing the right cards according to the level of your students can enable you to play this kind of games both with very young learners and with adults. Anyway, if you are interested in this this particular game, it's called Let's Talk, and the aim is very clear. Let's talk. All of these games come with a tiny little booklet like that, in which you can find not just the main way to play the game, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 in this case, different games or varieties or variation of this game that you can play with this particular set of cards. So when you buy one of these games, in fact, you buy more than one games because you can adapt it and select some of the material in each box in order to match your students' needs. Okay, so congratulations to those who won, but now let's move to very young learners and let's talk about class 4B. As you can see, they are always in my heart. Teaching good classes, well, everybody can do it. Teaching more demanding students, it's a challenge. Never give up. Let's do it is our task. And yes, in my experience teaching primary school, Actually, I started teaching primary school more than 20 years ago. When I started, I thought it was not a permanent teaching. I said, well, I'll do it for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then I'll move to high school, because I started teaching high school. But then I started to love, and I do love teaching very young learners. It's very challenging, and it gives me the chance to try new strategies, new activities, and I hope, and well, I'm sure that you like teaching as well, because if you are here, of course, you find that teaching is something you really, really like. Anyway, board games provide a low-stress environment to learners to make mistakes and so improve their skills. Yes, because when you play games, no problem if you make mistakes, as long as you can play, you can have fun while playing. Of course, when my students make mistake, okay, I write down what they say, and not in the very same lesson. Maybe the lesson of the next week or the next lesson, I go back to the mistakes that I could spot during their way of playing, but I certainly don't stop them unless the mistakes they point out stop the communication. Anyway, using card games, it helps to develop a high learning environment, because card games can be used to teach vocabulary, grammar, conversation skills, cultural understanding. And yes, board games can be used with children, teenagers, and adults. And they are suitable for all language levels. Let's move now to Quarta B, and here they are, my favorite class, my 4B class. Here they are playing in groups, and this is one of the games they love most. It's called the grammar tree. Look, this is the box, the grammar tree. Now, the grammar tree comes with, of course, a booklet, plenty of cards, and a board like this. When I play it in class with my students, I readapt it in a different way, but this is where you sign the points. Okay. The grammar tree is a board game with questions and multiple choice answers that make learning and revising grammar, wow, very, very, very fun indeed. The game allows your learners to revise and memorize the basic rules of English grammars and verb form. Again, there are 132 cards divided into two decks, of two different colors, blue cards with 4 verbs and red cards with other grammar point. And then there are my favorite students card, the green lifeline cards, like this. Example, change cards, because if you in your group have to answer a question and you don't know the answer, you can have the chance during the game to once in each match change cards, or eliminate one of the 3 options, or pass the questions to your opponent, or ask other players of your team to come and help you. And these live cards make the way of playing very interactive indeed. The board is a tree with 120 leaves and flowers. It's divided into 2 halves so that it can be used by 2 players, or as I use with my children, with 2 teams. For each correct answer, the player moves forward onto the next leaf. Players take it in turns to take a card and answer the questions. When the question has been answered, correctly or incorrectly, the card is put on the side and it is the next player's turn. The winner, of course, is the players or the team who wins the most levels at the end of the game. Here are some cards, some examples of cards with simple levels or more elaborated level. These are some of the cards, like number 5, school A, starting, B, starts, C, to start, sorry, C starts. Of course, I cannot ask you to answer the questions. These, for you teachers, are dead easy, but with very young learners, they can be very, very useful indeed. Of course, with low numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions are simple. The more you go up with the number of the cards, the more complicated and structures are the questions and, of course, the answers. When do you live? Where do you live? Or what do you live? We don't have enough, few, or little sugar to make muffins. And which sentence is correct? Usually, we at the weekend go out for dinner. We usually go out for dinner at the weekend. At weekends, usually go out for dinners. You know, if you think of card number 1 and card number 55, you can see there's a gap in between, and you can select the cards you need for your class. Okay, with my students, I have changed the board, because with 120 leaves, it's difficult to finish a game. I've adapted a PowerPoint with this tree. If you need it, if you want to play it with your students, through Sylvia, you can ask me to send you this particular PowerPoint with the tree, and no problem, I can send it to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Shall we play it? Shall we play it? Okay. Let us say if there are some of you from European countries, you play with the blue rectangles, and if some of you are from non-European countries, you go with the red rectangles. European, blue; non-European, red. Okay, shall we start? Shall we play a little bit? Okay, let's pick up a card. Let's pick up a card. Oh, well, this is too simple. Never mind. It's simple, but it's just to give you an idea. European. I like broccoli. I don't. I not. I doesn't. Write the correct 1, 2, or 3. Write the correct answer. Europeans. Sylvia, do we have a correct answer?
Oh, yes, we do. So don't.
And so it's 1 point for the European. Okay, and let's go now to the non-European countries. Let's pick up a card from the blue deck, from the grammar deck. Okay. Okay. She ... never traveled by plane. Is, was, or has. A, B, or C. Please write in the chat your correct answer. Toot, toot, toot. Sylvia, have you got a correct answer from non-European countries?
Honestly, I haven't got any answers so far, so let's wait for a few seconds more.
Okay, let's wait. She ... never traveled by plane.
I've only got one answer from Daniela, and
or has.
The answer is correct. It's ahead.
Okay, from Daniela. Where is Daniela from?
I don't know. Please, Daniela, can you write down where you're from? Just
okay.
Let me see. Just give us a second.
Communications are not that easy sometimes, but we can manage with that.
Okay. Daniela, she's from Moldova.
Moldova. Mulțumesc, Daniela. Okay, and of course, point for Daniela. Okay, right. There's no point in, going out and complete the game, but with students, when you reach point 9, you win. And of course, I selected 9 points because students, when they win, they of course can say, we are on cloud 9 as they reach point 9. They are on cloud nine. Expressions, idiomatic expressions to say, wow, we are very, very happy indeed. Okay, so the grammar tree. The game is also perfect and engaging for playing during online courses or lessons where I, the teacher, can see the students face to face, as you can see in the example reported in the photograph. This is a game that really works, believe me, it works with online teaching. And the game, again, it's the grammar tree. Please consider having a look at it on the internet, or ask Sylvia at the end of the presentation how to have the chance to take a closer look to this game. Okay, why are board games so effective in class 4B? And not only class 4B. Okay, these are, in my opinion, in my experience, some of the reasons that I would like to share with you why games are so relevant. They reflect the needs of the class. Very important. In each game, you can select the material you need in order to match your students' need. So if you buy a game with 100 and something cards, you don't need to use all of them at the same time. It takes a little while to select the cards you need, but once you've done it, you've got a successful set of lessons in front of you. And believe me, it's worth it, definitely, yes. They have, board games, linguistic relevance. They mirror the contents of course books, no matter which course book you're using. You find in these games something to mirror the contents of your course book. And they have ongoing relevance, of course. They provide variety. They give a sense of progress and achievement. And last but not least, they build positive attitudes in the class for both students and teachers. And I strongly believe, and I'm sure you do, we strongly believe that our 4B classes need to build a positive attitude towards teaching, towards studying, and in so doing, they will, build a positive image of ourselves, of themselves as students, and ourselves as a teacher. I mean, in my experience, using games with difficult classes helps me, and I hope helps you as well, to create such a positive atmosphere that even, big difficulties are dealt in a better way. And sometimes other teachers say, I don't know why, but when they have English, they seem a different class. Of course they seem a different class, because this kind of approach is both visual, audio, kinesthetic, and all of the channels, all of the input, learning channels can be matched with this kind of approach. So board games are a gift for all of us, teaching both very young learners and adults. Again, if you have any questions, if we were in an online lesson, in a live lesson, I will stop now and ask you to give me your feedback or ask questions. But as we said, we have time for that in a short time. How to choose the right board game. Now, here are some of the points. And if you download the material, then you can look through these points again at the end of the presentation. Age and interests. Consider the age and interests of your learners. Some games are too childish, some games are too demanding. Think of the age and find out the proper game, and in the game, find out the proper material suitable for their age and their interest. As I said, choose a game that can be easily adapted. Choose games that are easy to set up and play, and then can be adapted to suit your specific language learning needs. And please don't be afraid to get creative and make your own adaptation to existing games. Authors games authors are not that jealous, believe me. If you find that using some cards and not all of them is useful for your classes, please do it. Feel free to adapt. If you read in the booklet that there are 5 or 6 ways to use the game, and you find a more elaborated one, and you find a way that is as simple as your class needs, well done. Do it. Feel free to use it. And last but not least, it's a good idea to try out a game yourself before using with your learners to make sure it's suitable and effective. And of course, to make sure that you know the rules, first of all, and you know how to play it. And now, please join me with my adult class. I have a group of teachers I work with twice a month, one Thursday, yes, one Thursday, no. And we work together. It's an amazing group. And we have both lessons about methodology and lessons about conversation. And it's amazing how games can develop a beautiful learning atmosphere. And here is a game, the emotions game. Again, 132 cards, divided, of course, into groups. But again, I will skip all of these elements here, how to play. Let's play it. Let's play it. Similar to the one we played before. Let's pick up a card, situation. Okay. Let's pick up one. Oh, let's pick up one card. The first card is this. Can you see it? Can you see it? Silvia, can you see the card?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so it's a horror movie. Mm-hmm. Yes. Ta-da-da, a horror movie. Okay, someone might say that, you know, having a look at my face during the presentation is very similar to the horror movie. Thank you for the joke. Yes, I know, but this is a real horror movie. Ta-da! And again, I could choose between red cards, annoyed, angry, furious, or purple cards, afraid, worried, or terrified, or blue cards, down, sad, devastated, and green cards, disgusted, repulsed, okay, and orange cards, surprised, etc., etc., right? Okay, but my card, in a situation like this, during a horror movie, I am one of these three: afraid, worried, or terrified. By the way, I'd like to talk to you, my dear colleagues and friends following this presentation. If you watch a horror movie, are you afraid, are you worried, or are you terrified? Do you find in one of these words the one that matches your feeling during a horror movie situation? Please, if you find it, write it down in the chat box. Are you afraid while watching a horror movie? Are you, worried? Level 1. Are you worried? Are you afraid? Level 2. Or are you terrified? Level 3. Which one matches your feeling? Please write it down in the chat. Worried, afraid, or terrified? Or different words if you don't find it in these three.
Okay, I can see some answers coming in.
Okay, and what's the? Can you please, Silvia, tell me some of the answers you can read?
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay. I'm starting with the the funniest one, because teacher Harrington says she or he, pardon me because I don't know this name, is amused by horror movie or by horror, character.
Oh, yes, of course, of course. Okay, I should have taken these. Look, relaxed. Maybe she would have, okay, she would have taken maybe the yellow feelings, relaxed, happy, or ecstatic. These three levels. Okay.
However, most of the answers say terrified.
Terrified. So level 3. This person that you mentioned is pleased while watching horror movies. Can you please write? I mean, this person, you said the name of this person is?
I can see here, oh no, is Maria, Harito Maria, I would call her Maria.
Maria, yes. Maria, please now everybody try to guess, all of us, including me, try to guess if Maria is relaxed, is happy, or is ecstatic while watching horror movies. Please, Maria, think about it. If you are number 1, if you are number 2, or if you are number 3. Okay, and all of us try to guess. I vote. Well, no, you vote on your chat.
Yeah. Okay, happy.
Maria will tell us who is the winner.
Happy.
Happy is the most. Okay. I don't know, Maria, but I vote for number 3, ecstatic. Okay. Maria,
And?
which one is the correct answer? Are you relaxed? Are you happy? Or are you ecstatic? 1, 2, or 3? Which one is suitable? Which one matches your feeling?
Yeah, Maria is confirming happy. She's happy.
So I didn't win. Sorry for this. I should be more professional during the presentation. Never mind. I was in a class mood at the moment. So happy. Those of you who voted for number 2, who went for number 2, you win a meal cooked by Maria. Congratulations. Maria, where do you come from?
Okay, give me a second because she needs to get back to us. Maria has become very popular this afternoon. So again, from Republic of Moldova.
Wow, Moldova. Maria, thank you for playing with us. Maria, thank you for playing with us. Maria. Maria. Thank you, Maria, for playing with us. I know this is terrible. Sorry, I shouldn't do this. Silvia, I know you want an official presentation, but I can't keep it very official to the end. Sorry, Silvia. Anyway.
It's fine, very appreciated.
Integrating board games, thank you. Integrating board games into your lesson plans. How can we use board games? As a warm-up activity? Yes. I use it very often after mid-morning break to start the lesson again. Because they play games during the mid-morning break, and when they enter the class, starting with something similar to a game or a real game is a good way to enter smoothly into the lesson feeling. And incorporating board games into lesson themes and topics, students have the perception that playing this part of the lesson specifically designed for them, and allowing learners to play board games in pairs or small group during class time. And of course, while doing that, of course, if you integrate games in this way, you have a sort of creative noise in the class. Do not feel scared or afraid or frustrated if your students are noisy while playing games. It's only natural. They are playing, they produce sound. But this is a positive and creative way of being noisy. In my experience, giving a homework, asking as a homework to play board games is something that works a lot, especially with unusual classes like Quarta, like 4B. Using board games as a form of evaluation. or assessment. Yes, the way they play, the way they interact, the way they understand, first of all, rules, the way they feel free to use their language in order to communicate and play. This gives us, I mean, me as a teacher, all of us as a teacher, a lot of information about their command of the language. Okay, let's have a quick look at the social aspects of the language. Material management can be an important social aspect. Looking at the cards, they should be returned in the same condition as they were given out, which means not only individual responsibility, but the class as a whole has this important responsibility. A little tip, in my experience, count cards before distributing them and get the students to count the cards before giving them back, and keep the card in boxes like this rather than envelopes. It makes the difference. You can use, I have card games that I started to use more than 10 years ago, and I still use them because I keep them in boxes. At the beginning, some of my games were kept in envelopes. I don't have them anymore. The cards, you know, believe me, it's different. And last but not least, I lost the game, yes, and life goes on. If you don't win the game, it doesn't really matter. And on the other hand, I won, I'm happy, and I don't need to make fun of my classmates who didn't win. These days, with all, you know, bullying around, teaching this in real life is a major achievement for us as teachers and for the students we are working with. Okay, so basically, this is the end of the presentation so far. We have, I think, enough minutes, 10 minutes maybe, or slightly more if you need it, to exchange ideas. Please, please, Maria, and not only ask questions or write your comments or write down what you think about this. Tell me if you use board games or not, and if you are willing to use them even more. I'm waiting for you. For your notes, please, I'm here ready to listen. I've been talking a lot, so it's your time to talk and give me your feedback. Write it down, please.
Thank you, Paolo. Let's wait for a few seconds. In the meantime, just wanted to, well, thanks for showing this slide. It's a reminder where you can find all information about our LE language games. So lelanguagegames.com is our website, where you can find all the resources, all the new titles, new games for 2023, also our catalog. Paolo, if you take a look at the chat between myself and yourself, you should be able to read some comments, questions from our participants.
Yes. How much time can we dedicate for playing board games in a 40 or 50-minute lesson? If the lesson is at the end of the afternoon, on Friday, I have a lesson from 3 to 4 in the afternoon. Well, sometimes it's the whole lesson, 30, 40 minutes. Sometimes, if you need it as a warm-up, maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes. 10 minutes is more than enough. So not always the same amount of minutes. It really depends on the need of the class and the aim and the level of energy, or if your students are tired. You know, it really depends on the time. From 10 minutes up to 40 minutes anyway. Someone wants to have a look at the catalog. Yes, can you read it again? No, sorry. Can you read it?
Yes, so
legames.com. Could you repeat the address, please? I can't even find the chat box. So if you can't find the chat box is www.elilanguagegames.com. Eli languagegames.com.
Okay, give me a few seconds because I'm going through the questions.
Okay. Wow, I'm glad there are questions then. Good. And while you are writing your questions, please let me invite you for a presentation next Wednesday. We will be talking about music, videos, grammar with music.
Okay, so this question actually was written earlier when you were showing a game. I'm not sure it was the grammar tree or the emotion game. So here it says, is it right in your view to select some of the cards according both to the topic we are working and the students we have in front of us? So something like a selection. I selected, some of the cards.
Absolutely, yes. It's not advisable. It's essential in order to make the game suitable for our students. As I said, it takes a bit of time. You waste, if I could say that, 1 hour of your time, half an hour, but the result is impressive. So yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, I've just put in another question for you, Paolo, if you can read it.
How many students are best in a team? Would you need more games set per class? It depends on the game. When I play this one, the grammar game, 2 teams is okay. If you play a game like this, let's talk, and if you have the chance of having a big English class, as I had in one of the 2 schools where I teach, a big room, a very big room, you can then split the class into 2 groups and have one group playing a game on one side, another group playing a game in the other side, and you, the teacher, or you and a colleague of yours. But this is not very often, to have 2 teachers in the class. But you can actually jump from one group to the other and see the way they play. So yes, how many students are best in a team? 10, 15, 7, 8. It really depends on the class, but there's no limit. And would you need more game sets per class? Depending on the game, not necessarily.
Thank you, Paolo. I got other questions. For example, okay, when you play, do you explain the rules in English or in the other students' language?
Good. Over the years, actually, I changed my point of view on this particular point. Once I believed that games, should be explained. Today, I understood that they should simply be demonstrated and played. I understood that the need to explain the rules was more a problem of mine than a real need to the students. If students don't understand every single word, but get the general idea of the explanation, they start playing, and understanding happens naturally and automatically. So just play it. Don't waste time explaining. Play it.
Thank you. So another question is, how important is the social value of playing together?
Good. As I said, this is absolutely vital, essential. Today, after 2 years, maybe some part of the world, 2 years, a year and a half, 3 years of lessons from home or in the classroom, yes, but distance, never working in group. Children and young people in particular need to get used to re-decoding non-verbal language and visual expressions. So playing is a great social help. It has a deep social value. And as I said, it's nice to teach that you can lose a game, you can lose a match, and still have life in front of you. Yes, so the answer to this question is, how important is social value? Very, very, very important indeed, underlined.
Thank you. Then, yes, I can see many comments. For example, underlined, stressing the fact that games can be used as warm-up activities, to start a lesson, to make their lesson a little bit more dynamic. Sometimes when to end a lesson, for example,
Yes,
And
sure.
definitely, I think, we have learned so much, and we heard so much about gamification up to now, which is not only, digital gamification, but also card games like these ones, which are actually physically manageable by the kids or by the pupils. Do you think, are you more familiar, or do you suggest, more to use like card games or digital game? Are you more in favor of digital gamification or else?
I know maybe I'm not very trendy in the answer I'm giving you now, but in my experience these days, children need, especially very young learners, need something physical, something to touch, something to exchange. So at the moment, I'm more into card games, or not so much into digital games, because they have so many digital inputs in their lives. I mean, of course, this is, an answer that I'm pointing out, thinking of my experience in the school I'm teaching, well, in the two schools I'm teaching, and I know my answer is limited to the experience, my experience of these days. I'm not saying this answer is a complete answer, but if you're asking my experience, I think that children need something more practical, some physical elements to touch and share, and because, as I said, they need to decode the visual language. They need to touch each other if this is part of the game, and something that you cannot do using computer. Of course, I'm not against computers and technology. I'm in charge in my city, in my town hall. I'm in charge of as a member of the town hall, as a councillor of the town hall, I'm in charge of all the political issues related to education. So we did finance our school with computers and technology and fast internet and so on. So I'm not against it. But on the other hand, my students, at least my students, these games need a more physical approach that needs to be rediscovered. So I'm sorry, I know it's not very modern, perhaps, and not very trendy, I'm not very well acquainted, perhaps, but this is my answer in my experience today.
Okay. So yes, thank you, Paolo. I think that's it for this afternoon. There are many comments thanking you and appreciating this webinar. It has been very, very dynamic, very lively. Actually, there's a comment which is really what I was thinking. So this teacher is saying, so please be honest, you enjoy playing with your students, don't you? And I think it's actually true.
Well, yes, a lot. Honestly, I do. Yes.
And I think this is the secret.
Yes, I do. Honestly, I do.
Okay, so thank you, Paolo. Thank you all teachers for joining us today. You were so many from different parts of the world. It's always a pleasure. And please do send an email to myself. You will see my email address in the email you received to join this webinar, because I could see that some of you can't download the PDF, can't download the handouts. So please feel free to get in touch with me. And by tomorrow evening, you will receive the PDF or the certificate of attendance. So see you next week, next Wednesday at this time again with Paolo Iotti.
Yes,
okay?
Please come and invite your relatives, your friends, your neighbors, whoever. Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, Paolo, and everyone else, and see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. See you next week then. Bye-bye.
Bye.